All right, today's presentation is about the evolution of search and social, how search has really become omnipresent. You have to start changing the way you think about SEO. And nowadays, it's not just about Google and those keywords we're going to talk about. If you really want free attention for your brand, you got to do 100% of the work, not 50 or 60% of the work, which is just traditional and technical SEO. So we'll talk about that, why, how consumer behavior is changing. If you think of it right now, we're in that sort of like Kodak moment. I think there's a great article that just came out about we're in that Kodak moment, right when there was old film cameras and digital cameras, and people thought the film was going to be fine, right? Think of it as traditional search, and it really became the digital cameras feature. So that's what AI, chatbots, social, we're just kind of in that new brewing chemistry of digital marketing changing as always, marketing in general changing as always. So how do you prepare yourself for that change? So slide 2 here is about investing in growth today for tomorrow, right? So at the end of the day, how do you future-proof your business, right? This is a great B2B stat that 5% of your current buyers are in market and 95%, right, are not thinking about it or just in the beginning phases. So how do you account for all of those people? So Google's great, right, for that last 5%, but really you can't grow your business in a world where that's getting, click inflation, behavior's changing. It's really not the same 5% where you close the deal on Google just there anymore, but you really have 95% of the people not in market. You have all that opportunity at different channels to get in front of them, to be discovered, to talk about how you solve their problems. And this slide 3 really illustrates that, right? Most users, when they're on the internet, 10% only spend 10% of their time searching, right? And when they are searching, they're changing how they search. So you have 20% of their time on the internet, right, is on social. Productivity tools like Google Suite, right, or Microsoft Office. They're on news sites, consuming news. They're on e-commerce, Amazon. They're searching for products, reading reviews, all that other good stuff. Different other sites here, right, government ed and games, all that good stuff. But really 10% of their time, right, is on search. So you have all these other areas to really be discoverable. So a couple stats here. 69% of Gen Z already searches on social, 49% already searches on millennials already search on social. So you're thinking about free organic awareness. It's not just Google. In fact, for a lot of the things that you were probably getting that upper mid funnel, a lot of that's moving to different aspects as the consumer is changing how they want that delivered to them, right? Slide 4 is a great stat from a large agency. They did a study of I think around 12,000 people, how their behavior changed when searching for questions online. How did that change? So, right, in 2020, basically 98% of people searched on search engines, right? TikTok wasn't around. It was just coming around. People's behavior was more the old school traditional digital marketing. It's now changed, right? 17% search on social media, 30% on AI chatbots, right? If I want information, I want top 5 tractor brands, I might go to Gemini first, or I might go to ChatGPT or Grok, or Claude when I'm trying to figure out products. So a lot of that educational top funnel or like the way you introduce your brand is now moving to different channels. And this is only the beginning, right? And there's lots of stats that talk about Google's search volume went up. We'll talk about how that's really misleading and really feeds into this narrative in the next few slides. So slide 5, people search everywhere. I think Neil Patel, great marketer, coined search engine everywhere as the new search engine. It's not just Google, right? It's not just Google and Bing. People search on Instagram, right? Your brand's basically second website is its Instagram page. People go there to see what you're about, find some information, but people go to Instagram to find content, look up products. They go to Snap, they go to Amazon, searching different things. What are the best cameras, right? Let me read the reviews. LinkedIn for knowledge. They're going to YouTube for tutorials and education and long form podcasts. They're going to TikTok to find specific experiences. I'm traveling. I'm probably going to TikTok to see all the information I need and then planning out my trip. I'm not even going to Google, anymore unless I really, really need something. I need to buy a ticket. I might go to Google, right? So you need to show up. So people are searching everywhere, and you need to be positioning your company for that local business, large business, enterprise. All of you need to really figure out and do the work. And we'll talk about what that work looks like. So recent study came out and was talking about how AI overviews have increased overall searches on Google, but they've been killing click-through rates, CTRs, right? Leading to what we call zero-click searches. This is something that social's been talking about for years, but now it's finally hitting Google. And that's because people just want the information. They don't want to go through 30, they don't even want to go through the links. They want the information, right? They want the answer. They want to move on. Otherwise, they're going to go to Grok. They're going to go to Gemini. They're going to go to ChatGPT. So Google has introduced AI overviews, right? If you search for a question, you essentially get that pop up, right, and gives you all the information, typically sources on the right. So This is a good area for Google, but again, is this going to be where people really want? Is that the experience that they want? Right now it is. So here's what's going on. So when Sears Interactive had a study, when AI answers show up in search results, you can see a 70% drop in click-through rates on organic searches, right? So non-paid ads, a 17% drop in paid ads if an AI overview shows up. And people basically get the information, they move on, they research, they redo a question, right? So if you're thinking about that top upper funnel, a lot of the discovery aspects to your business might be going away. It's why you're feeling that click inflation, not only natural click inflation, which is about 10% a year, clicks cost more 10% every year. You're getting more inflation because a lot of people aren't even clicking anymore. They might do that. They might go to your YouTube channel, right? Or go right to your website or click one of the source links. They're not even clicking on your blogs anymore, right? So not to say that this isn't happening, but to say that you need to diversify, knowing that the behavior is already changed. It's already changed. It's just about the masses completely adopting it and then defaulting, right? So last nuance is on slide 7 here, AI overviews are growing year over year, especially in specific areas like informational websites. So when people add what, when, where, or how, they typically get the drop downs, and that's what they prefer, right? So think of it as like the information gathering, the FAQs, solving problems. People are going to default to overviews, answers, chatbots, YouTube videos, and different things. So what does this look like for your business on slide 8 here? So it's a great graphic. It goes from just keyword discovery back in the day, right, 2020, and then showing up in all the blogs and websites that what happened in search results to just the discovery era. And think about it as you get discovered, that free organic, and I have a great slide coming up that really illustrates this, is you need to show up in social search, YouTube, and you need to show up in AI bots. And how do you do that? You understand that it's about discovery, and you start to reverse engineer to that discoverability, right? So what does that mean? It means things like having long form blogs or long form videos that really articulate all the questions and information that people are looking for, so that you can feed into the chat bots, or people can watch and find those answers, or that you show up in search and a YouTube video shows up, or they go to YouTube to search for something and you're showing up. So you want to show up in those different results, AI, social media, and Google search. And 9 here, why am I talking that social media is like SEO? And really, they are. Social and Google are essentially now cousins, I call it. Like, I think it used to be very different. The old algorithms were about who you followed, right? The friends graph, who the influencers you followed, the brands you followed. It was about engagement. It was really a static imagery first platform, very high at the end of 2020, it was very high production, right? And content was disposable, 24 hours, 48 hours a week if you're a really good creator. And it ended up being pay to play. Well, what TikTok discovered is the new algorithm was based on an interest graph, right? Meta calls it, I think they call it the discovery engine, right? Discovery era. It's an endless stream of content based on interest and watch time. So your primary success metric is watch time. It shows most of us are consumers or lurkers. We basically passively watch stuff, and if we're compelled, we'll comment and all that other good stuff. That's the primary success metric. A video piece of content goes out to a percentage of your followers and a percentage of non-followers, and based on that watch time, it keeps going until it really dies out. And that is how you win. So you want to have searchable content, best ice cream in Tampa, and you want to show up for your brand. It's about vertical video, obviously, in volume. Long form on YouTube. Long form will, I think, continue to grow in terms of searchability. SEO friendly content, like, again, think about the 360. You can go to sites like Answer the Public. Where and how people are searching, you want to reverse engineer. Your FAQs is a very rich section for showing up in social. And series-based content. You're a tire company, you're trying to reach people and talk about your durability. You can make a series, durability part 1, 2, 3, 4, running over nails, running over different things, poking things, just having fun with your brand and showing up and having volume of content that shows up. And that's how you win on social nowadays. That's why you can have 0 followers and get viral videos, because it doesn't matter about followers. It matters that your content is interesting to the end user in that SEO interest-based, right? So to illustrate that, if you look on this slide 10 here, TikTok and YouTube, we just quickly pulled some industry searches to have fun. I put the hashtag tractor in there. It's been used 93,000 times in the last year, and content's been created with that 93 times. 93,000 videos in the last year have been posted. In the last 12 months I just put here, hashtag healthcare, it's been 405,000 videos have been created using that hashtag. So think about that. There's a ton of opportunity for you to stand out in terms of competition, overall volume, People are interested in it, so you can create content around it, right? Then you have, I just put Toyota and YouTube, and there's a tool called vidIQ, and it shows you the search volume and competition. You can tell that it's very robust, just like it would be if you looked in Google. So there's a lot of searching, a lot of discoverability, a lot of opportunity, probably for a lot of brands and industries. You're really only competing with creators, not other brands. So you could really stand out in these search areas because most brands aren't doing the work. And what does doing the work look like? So if you have one takeaway, it's this slide here, slide 11. You want to expand your reach. Most businesses, especially in this era, are defaulting to how do we do more with less, right? Budgets are tighter. 2022 was sort of the peak of the economy. We're trying to figure out where we're going here in 2025. So they're defaulting to the things that they feel are high value, which is traditional and technical SEO, showing up in search results, making sure you get those free clicks, right? Branded clicks. So that's typically high converting, but that's getting harder and harder to do, especially the behavior that we've talked about is really changing, right? So most people are doing 60% of the work and expecting 100% of the results here. So what does 100% of the work look like? It is fueling content for AI chatbots and fueling content for social media and YouTube, where the other places you can get free organic awareness. It is also zero click, but can lead to those high intent clicks. That's what we're all chasing. We're not chasing, blog clicks and overall website volume. And I think there's a really good marketer, I can't think of his name right now. He said impression is going to be more important than clicks, because clicks are going to be less upper funnel, mid funnel, and it's going to be more about being discoverable, getting in front of the person, educating them, whether it's video, whether it's a chat bot, or whether it is a blog or a piece of content, that you get those high intent brand searches and clicks that convert to business. So at the end of the day, you need to do the other 40% of the work, and it's not that hard. Just think of how do we create like video at scale. You can do it with an iPhone in the beginning and just be informative. You can be very fun. You can think of Duolingo. They just made goofy videos and they blew up their entire business because they made fun video, jumped on trends, and just had a good time, but it's low budget, right? So a video for strategy, thinking even for chatbots, being more long form and informative, thinking about how people are talking and conversating and really feeding that and marrying that SEO keywords and conversational content, long form, not like the short snippets and kind of, shortcut content. You want that long form informative so you can show up as, AI is trying to fill the next word, that your brand can get caught in that, and having long form video do the same thing, having short form video be the gateway drug sort of for your overall brand, and having long form content that really can also pop out. There's so many other tactics I can get into, but if I can drill into your head one thing, you can't get away with doing 60% of the work and expecting 100% of the results in 2025. I know so many businesses right now, they're like, we're doing all the SEO and blah, 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 blah. Why aren't we growing? Because you're not doing the other 40%, which is where most people spend their time, and you're not getting that free attention and awareness. So it seems pretty simple in my brain. If you think about all the brands that are really working hard and growing, they're most likely doing this already. You probably know the brands because you consume their content already, and creators and people are talking about them at scale. So lastly, this last slide 12 here is you can do all that good stuff organically, but you really want to have that integrated SEO and organic strategies, right? You want to do the SEO, the organic, social, sustainable, that has that sustainable, long-term results, typically has more qualified traffic and builds brand authority. You also want to have your paid media ads on, right, for that precise targeting and really more predictable, projectable results. And then integrating them is really where it gets you to that maximized result. So I hope you guys learned. The business has changed. Again, it's about, you want to do 100% of the results, you got to do 100% of the work in 2025, because it is not the same environment as even 2020. And you can't default the tactics like 2018, 2017. It's only going to get you part of the way there. Good luck, and we hope you learned. And like we always say, get better every day. Bye.